There's either like people whose parents are like constantly on them. So everything's been kind of like, you have to have good grades because these good grades, like this is what's gonna get you into college. And then the other half is like, my parents don't really care where I go to school as long as I'm happy. They just want me to go somewhere I want to go.
I sometimes think the schools are responsible for this. They put so much pressure on the kids to be thinking about college so early on.
What are the big stressors? What are the things that you worry about? The lead up to college, that's the big frenzy, right, these days. And even during my time, you have to be in the right preschool because the right preschool would be the right middle school. And parents are, truly, I think parents are driving their kids insane around this. Was this your experience as well?
I think there's definitely two different types of teenager in this sense, like, and it's there's no in between. There's either like people whose parents are like constantly on them. So everything's been kind of like, you have to have good grades because these good grades, like this is what's going to get you into college, and you have to have a good resume, that's going to get you into college. You have to go have a good standardized test score, that's going to get you into college, and like everything.
At least they're not telling you to get a good husband.
Right.
At least that's true.
Yeah.
Not yet.
But everything, I feel like in high school has had some like back like component of like, this is like for college. And then the other half is like, oh, you know, my parents don't really, they don't care where I go to school as long as I'm happy. They just want me to go somewhere I want to go.
I mean, I'm so Indian, I can't even process these people.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow.
Like with those types of kids, there's a lot of like room for self-motivation.
Yeah.
Whereas like when your parents are constantly hounding you.
Does that sort of pressure hinder your experience? Because I assume, and you guys all seem like, you know, you've all got your heads on your shoulders, and if your parents had backed off a little bit, do you think that you would have been able to do more? I don't mean the right college. I personally don't believe that that's the be all and end all, but do you think that taking some of that pressure off or making college less of the focus would have been better for your high school experience, for your teenage experience?
Even in middle school, grades just weren't really a big thing that my parents were stressed about, and they would help me study for tests and stuff, and I was very self-motivated, which I think is in part because my parents weren't on me, so I had to be on myself. I'm definitely glad that they did it the way they did. I think I've had a very good high school experience, and I don't characterize my high school experience by my academic achievement. I characterize it by friends and social stuff. That's the things that'll stick with me. And in the college process, actually, there was kind of a shift. My mom got a little intense for the first time. They were a bit on me, which made it the first stressful thing in my life.
So when times got tough with your parents, were you able to talk to them about it?
It was never too bad, but it was just little things like at dinner, the conversation. When it really got into college, I would just be like, oh, can we please change the subject?
Helping parents calm down really will help their kids thrive. I think sometimes we have these hopes from our own childhood that we didn't fulfill, and so we put it on them. And we have to let go and separate out what's my stuff and what has nothing, what has nothing to do with my child. I mean, I have a lot of kids who, start with me in 8th or 9th grade, and they're already talking about college, not because they want to, but because the schools are making them think about it. I don't know if that's really a good thing.
I think those are the two big takeaway points, if I may, correct me if I'm wrong here, is one, know your kid and communicate, and sort of give them space to be who they are.
Absolutely, yeah.
For the past 18 years of my life, I've been so reliant on my parents.
Yeah. You know it's cold there, right?
It's very cold there, very cold there. Every few nights I'll just think about it, thinking like, oh wow, it's going to be very weird in 6 months to be sleeping in a bed that isn't a floor beneath my parents' room. I think just thinking about that independence, while it will be beneficial, is also pretty daunting.
Do you share that thought with your mom or with your parents?
Totally. I've talked to her about it many times, and she's also scared about it.
Of course. I can barely drop my kid off to camp. So I can imagine how hard that is. You often don't hear, the kids are like, ciao, out the door. But of course there's a transition. This is Kaamna from KaamnaLive, and this is your destination for BS-free conversations about all the things you care about. If you liked what you saw, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, potter around and see what else we have here, and of course, tell your friends. Cheers.